bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-da-ba-ba-dum. Hello, my friends. Happy Monday. So nice to see you all, my Facebook friends, my Mighties, Joette's Mighty member friends. It's so good to see you. And we also are on X and Rumble, and where else? I have to remember all of these things, and YouTube. So please do me a favor, and all of us a favor, because this is a movement, my friends. Like, share, subscribe, and comment, because it moves things along, doesn't it? So hi, friends. Hi. My name is Joette Calabrese, and I'm here every Monday night to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to talk to you about homeopathy, to teach you what I know, for you to share information, and to get this movement going even further and faster than ever before. So, for those of you who do know me, hi friends. It's great to see you all. I see all old friends from Toronto, that's Linda, and my friend from Ajax, that's Rona. And good evening from Connecticut and Tyler, Texas, says Joanne. And Toronto must be pretty cold. I mean, I'm in Southeast Florida, and I got to tell you, friends, it's pretty cold here now. I've got a turtleneck on, and it's it's lovely during the day. It's gorgeous. It's sunny. You can walk outside with just in the morning with just a sweater over your shoulders, and then during the day it warms up nicely. And now it's chilly again, and this is perfect weather as far as I'm concerned. Nothing here but fog for days in Illinois, says Brianna. Hello from Charleston, South Carolina. That's Martine. I was just in Charleston, South Carolina. Such a lovely place. That's where we stop over when we're driving from north to south, and from south to north. We always stay in Charleston because it's one of our favorite places. And lots of people coughing over here. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. It's all about coughing. Let's talk about coughs, shall we? First, I want to say that coughs can usher in something a little more serious. They can usher in pneumonia, bronchitis. They can also usher in pertussis, which is whooping cough. But most coughs, and when you've got one, it's hard to believe this, but most coughs are innocuous. And they're just intended to do one thing: remove the mucus. Otherwise, if we didn't cough, let's talk about a chest cough right now. If we didn't cough and the mucus gathered in the lungs, we would drown. So it is a mechanism that is necessary. Now, also, if it's draining from the sinuses and we can feel it as a post-nasal drip, that cough is very important as well. Because as it drained, if we don't cough and remove it, it might close. I don't know that it would close up, but it might cause us to not be able to breathe comfortably, right? So don't hate a cough. I know it's uncomfortable sometimes. I know it can keep you up. I totally get it. People don't like getting coughs, but they are often, my friends, necessary. A necessary evil? Well, it depends how you think about it. If it's painful, we don't like that either. So I'm going to try to keep it real simple tonight. If I were to go to my fourth edition of the Meta Repertory by Robin Murphy and looked under coughs, oh my goodness, there are whole pages practically. I mean, we actually have, when we look under chest, I'm going to look at it's on page 567. For anyone who would like to do this with me, if you happen to have your 4th edition or even the 5th edition, the pages will be off a little bit. We would find that a cough goes on for pages and pages and pages. Not sentences, my friends. These are lists of homeopathic medicines. So there are many, 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 many coughs. Did I look that up properly? Let me make sure I got that right so that people can work with me. But I'm going to make it as easy as I possibly can. Yes, I believe I did. 567. Okay. So if we look at coughs, we're going to see many, many coughs. And when I teach how to deal with a cough in my courses on allergies and also on my blog, we do differentiate. However, I'm going to tell you, differentiate as to whether or not the cough is allergic or not. Now, if it's an allergic cough, it means that it's more likely to be chronic, right? It's not an acute. An acute cough is something that you don't have it, and then you get it, and then eventually it goes away. It could be a week later, more likely not a week later, more likely several weeks later, and then it goes away on its own. When that happens, then we know, generally speaking, it's not a chronic condition and it's not allergic. Now, if it is an allergic cough, and it is very hard to determine because until we get to the end of it, right? We don't know that until the condition is relieved. But if you're suspicious that it's an allergic cough, do think about what has been going on in this person's life. Perhaps it's dairy. Maybe they've had a lot more dairy lately. Maybe there's a new shampoo that they're using. Maybe it's seasonal. Don't forget seasonal, my friends. Seasonal is huge. Weather changes are huge. Very, very. That's why everyone seems to get sick in the winter, because of the shifts and the changes and the barometric pressure shifts and the jet stream coming in, etc. So I'm going to make it super easy, even though I know there are many medicines that we can consider for this. I'm going to give you the ones that are often the most frequent. Now, I'm going to show you one. I am not getting paid to do this. You need to understand that. It just happens to be a medicine that I think is pretty useful. And it's made by Boron, or Boron. It's Chestol, and it's a liquid. And I think can be very useful, can be very comforting. You can get it online. And it's got, if you look on the back, it gives the list of homeopathic medicines. And those medicines are useful for coughing. And you use it I'm going to say about every 2 hours. Every 2 to 3 hours, you take a dose of it. I have found that was useful. For many of my students, my clients report to me that they like it very much. So I'm going to pass it on. And then now let's now separate these kinds of coughs too. There are liquidy coughs, and then there are dry coughs. Which cough, my friends, do you think is the best to have? A liquidy cough or a dry cough? I mean, can we say that? Can we say that it's that there is one that's better than another? I think that we can. Let's see what folks come up with here. That stuff is good, says Sandra. Yeah, that Chestol. I agree. I think it's very good. It's also it just feels good too. Lisa's saying she likes Rumex Crispus. Great word, love it. Rumex Crispus. Can you get it in the UK? I believe you can. Yeah, because Boron is French. They're from France, and they are all throughout the U.S. and Europe, also in India. So yeah, it's a liquid, but you know they change the formulas every once in a while and the delivery system, but I think that this is one of their best. So, every couple of hours, every 2 to 3 hours. Is it going to cure it? It could. Is it going to make the person more comfortable? Yes. Yes, I do think it's going to make it more comfortable so the person can sleep. That is really the biggest issue for most people, is that they can't sleep. And so I urge you, I mean, these are just practical things. I know you figured this out already, but put a couple pillows under you, let it drain, because it's generally coming from the sinuses, or even if it's in the chest, it's better to be lifted up a little bit. I want to say that if it's a dry cough for a very, very long time and it's quite persistent, it's worse at night and better during the day, it could be considered a whooping cough, especially when it's persistent. Whooping cough is often called the 100-day cough, and that is, I have taught how to deal with whooping cough on my blog, so you can look that up. I'm not going to go through that right now, but I do believe that I actually had whooping cough myself, or something like that, when I was in India. You got it. Brianna's talking about Drosera. Drosera is a great medicine for that. Now let's talk about a productive cough, a wet cough. We don't want to suppress that, do we? We really want that mucus to be pushed out with each spasm of the chest, pushing it up, pushing it out, and releasing it. And then when it collects a little bit more, the body spasms again, it causes the cough, and it pushes it up and out again. Maddening sometimes, but quite necessary. So, one of the medicines that I love to use is Ipecac. Ipecac, Ipecac. And I love to use it in a 30th potency, especially when it's cough, 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 cough. Cough, 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 cough. Especially like that. But even if it's not, if it's a nagging cough, I really like Ipecac. Ipecac 30. And I like to use it every hour. Every hour. Perhaps the first couple doses, a few doses are every 15 minutes for the first hour, and then after that, about every hour. As the person improves, we taper off. And instead of every 15 minutes, let's say only 2 doses are needed and the person is calming down and the cough is not as severe, it's not as intense, it's not as long lasting, there aren't as many spasms, etc., etc., then instead of in 15 minutes, back off. Let's wait a while until we can see how long it takes before Ipecac 30 is needed again. And when we see that it's needed again, let's say in 45 minutes, then that will be our determining amount of time. Let's go with every 45 minutes from that time forward. So you're always watching. Always watching. Ipecac 30. I love it. Now, for how long can you take this? For as long as you need. If it doesn't help, my friends, in other words, you don't see any change. We're not looking for pure, complete, 100% cure. What we're looking for is some improvement so the person can sleep, so it's not as annoying, so it's a little bit less. It was a 9 on a scale of 1 to 10. Now it's gone down to a 5. I would call that's a good medicine then. If that medicine can do that, bring it from a 9 to a 5, or even a 9 to a 6. Stay with it. Now we have found a medicine that's acting nicely, then we stay with it. Ipecac 30. But then there's also another medicine, especially lately, I'm finding is quite useful, and that's Antimonium tart. Antimonium tartaricum is the full word, or Antimonium tart. And that can be used in a 30. I like it in a 30. I like it in a 6. Can be used in that. And Ipecac, by the way, can also be used in a 6. But I most often use it in a 30. Used in the same fashion. And sometimes we find that we need both medicines. Oh, God forbid. Can we do that? Can we do that in homeopathy? Use 2 medicines simultaneously? You bet we can, my friends. You bet we can. Antimonium tart and Ipecac may be used simultaneously if needed. Start with one so you get a feel for it. If you're not getting enough benefit from the Ipecac by itself, then yes, indeed, add the use of Antimonium tart as well. Every hour. Both of them together. You can actually put them both in your mouth at the same time once you have determined that indeed that is what's needed. You take them every hour together. Beautiful. In the beginning, you could start with, say, Ipecac every 15 minutes, as I said. See how it goes. A little improvements, looking pretty good. Keep going, keep going. Maybe add Antimonium tart if you're not getting through it over the next few hours. Okay, we're not looking for a complete abortion of all symptoms, my friends. There are many conditions in which we can see that occur. Coughs are not as common that we see that kind of a shift. Sometimes we do, and we're delighted, but many times what these medicines do is just make it a little more tolerable. Why? Because the body still has to get rid of the mucus. We're not trying to suppress the cough, we're trying to make it less bothersome so that the person can sleep. Now let's see if we have any questions. Yeah, Antimonium tart for the rattling mucus in the chest with difficulty ability to expel. Yeah, Antimonium tart is they feel the mucus, they know that it's wet, it's very mucusy, but they can't seem to get it up and out. It's so frustrating. Antimonium tart. I've never not had improvement, says Tien Huey. For a wet cough from Antimonium tart. Love this one. It's worked every time is what this person is saying. Okay. Tonsillitis, go to my... Listen, if I'm not addressing it here, my friends, for tonsillitis, do this. Joet Calabrese, tonsillitis. Or Joet Calabrese, sore throat. Can you take Chestol and Antimonium tart together? Well, I would start with one, see how it does, and if you need to, then you could. That's the way I look at it. Let's try to keep it as simple and as clean and as elegant as possible. But if there's no choice, then we go on. Okay. Tickle in the throat, probably allergy. Yes, I do agree with that. Especially if the person has a tickle in the throat on a regular basis. In other words, it comes for a few weeks, then it goes, then it comes back again a month later, and then comes back again for another 2 weeks or 4 or 5 weeks, and then it gets a little less, and then it gets a little bit more. I would call that an allergic cough. Yes, I would. So it's something that they're eating, something they're drinking, something they're breathing, something they're smearing on their bodies, something they're exposed to, something like that. More often than not, it's something the person is eating. Now let's go to if the cough is dry. Okay, now a dry cough we don't like so much because they could not only be painful, but they're not acting in a productive manner, and we want the cough to be productive, right? We want the cough to be releasing the mucus, which is an extremely important thing. That is the idea here, right? So in order to turn that around, Drosera. Now we're right back to whooping cough again, because that is the medicine for whooping cough, right? Drosera is one of the main medicines. There are others, but that is one of the main medicines for whooping cough. And the cough often has a whooping sound at the end of the coughing spasm, and it's a choking cough of sorts. So Drosera, I love Drosera 30. I think it's excellent for a dry cough that is also can be fitful. And fitful also is a good way of describing whooping cough. There are fits of coughs. Dry cough all year round. My friend, dry cough all year round is most likely allergy. I'm not going to diagnose for you, but then I would see a homeopath professionally. Also, a second remedy for a dry, fitful cough is Cuprum metallicum. And I love this in a 6. 6C, if you only can get 6X, then use that, but 6C is very good. Both of them, Cuprum metallicum 6X or 6C. Cuprum is a great medicine for spasms, and so it's spasmodic coughing that is still dry. Remember, this is for dry coughs, not wet coughs. Cough, 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 or cough. 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 That can also be what we might call a spasmodic, I guess it would just be a fitful dry cough. And I've got one more, but before we do that, just gave our dog Drosera for kennel cough. Knocked it out overnight. Yes, Drosera is an excellent remedy for kennel cough. Yes, you don't need to give drugs. You don't need to do that either. That is the medicine. Nicely done. All righty. Cuprum. Cuprum is C-U-P-R-U-M. C-U-P-R-U-M. The second word is metallicum. But it's cuprum, so that's how it's known. But cuprum metallicum. What potency for Drosera? 30. Cuprum. Everybody's writing it out. Good. Thank you very much for doing that. And then my last one, and it's really not my last, it's just the last one I'm going to talk about this evening, is what I bet everyone knows. It's one of the most common, especially if it's a barking cough. Those barking coughs can be maddening. They sound like a seal barking or a dog barking. It sounds like a seal. And it's one of our best medicines for whooping cough. Also for croup. It's a great medicine for croup. And these are the coughs that are not wet. I'm reiterating again. You got it. You got it, Lisa Heinrichs. It's Spongia. You got it, Brianna. Absolutely. Spongia tosta. Spongia, S-P-O-N-G-I-A, or Spongia tosta. You bet. And I love Spongia in a 30. But it can be used in a 200. It can be used in a 6. In any of those potencies. And again, maybe every 15 minutes for the first hour. From that time forward, then maybe every hour or 2. Could it be given day after day? You bet it can, as long as it's acting. But it's not 100% yet. But as long as it's acting, carry on, my friends. Carry on. Okay, Evelyn says, I had combo of dry and wet cough for weeks. Spongia and Drosera and Antimonium tart were of great help to me. Very nicely done. This can be used, these medicines can be used for weeks, as long as they are acting. Okay, as long as they are. If you're not getting any benefit, it's time to abandon that and look at something else. And Chara asks about bryonia. You bet. Bryonia is a very good medicine for the lungs in general and for worse from movement. So it can also be a cough that's painful. So bryonia is also one of my all-time favorites, and I love that in a 30. Let's see what else we've got here. People are talking to each other, helping each other. I love it. Mag phos kept my cough calmed at night so I could sleep. Took every 3 hours upon waking. So smart, Carrie. Mag phos, magnesium phosphoricum. You used it in a 6. I like it in a 6 as well. Is also excellent for spasms. And I like to call it mug phos because it's really good in a mug in hot water. Now, if you've got a cough throughout the night, and especially if you have leg cramps, if there are leg cramps and a cough, that is often a call for mag phos, magnesium phosphoricum. So I've called it mug phos because, as I said, I like to teach people to use it in hot water in a mug, but it really should be called thermophos. We just don't have any alliteration with that. But in a thermos, if you put mag phos 6X or 6C, in a thermos with hot water, about 5 pills in about 5 ounces of pretty warm water, and wait for it to dissolve, then swirl it about and take a good swig of it, hold it in the mouth for a minute, put the cap back on, and in a few minutes take another dose. Open up the cap, take another swig, hold it in the mouth for a minute, cap it back up again. And you can do that. And what I love about it being used in a thermos is that you can take it to bed with you put it under your pillow. You don't have to get up and get hot water. It's already mixed for you. There it is, right in your bed. You can do it without even turning the light on. Uncap it if you're coughing. Take a swig, hold it in your mouth. So that is for when there are spasms, coughing spasms, and especially if there are leg cramps. Or really, in a way, any other kind of cramp, menstrual cramps, but phos is known for cramping. It's used for cramping. And so if we have cramping concomitant with a cough that's spasming, cramping of sorts, phos can be a very good medicine. Can sulfur and pulsatilla be taken together? Had been not within 30 days of each other. Oh, I don't know. I think it depends on the situation. So many rules, aren't there? I'm sorry. I think those rules are a little overplayed. If it's called for, my answer is going to be, if the medicine is called for, we use it. We don't know until we do it. What's going to happen? What will happen? I'm sorry, I think there are far too many rules in certain circles. What is your go-to besides albuterol if a child has a tight cough where they are wheezing in the lung bases and oxygen is high at 82? Well, now we're talking about if we're using albuterol, my guess is the child has asthma, and especially if there's wheezing. Well, I mean, wheezing can come with other remedies, or with other conditions as well. I'm not prepared to get into that tonight. I don't want to get into something that's more chronic. I've read Rumix crispus is for a tickle cough. Yes, it can be. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I gave someone Kelly Bic for a cough this week, and she said it was very helpful. Yes, Kelly bicromium can be very useful as well, especially if there are sinus conditions as well. Let's see, Wyathia can be related to allergies. That's right. Ipecac 30 or can be 6. I think what's happening here is I love it. Everybody's helping each other. It's you're communicating. Pulled muscle in the lungs from the cough in the night. Okay, my friends, let's see what you come up with. This is not difficult. I know you're going to know it. When you pull a muscle, overexertion, when you've had an injury from coughing too much, let's see what you come up with. You are my wonderful team here. Well, Amy's talking about Kali iodatum for wheezing. Yes, that is true. Kali iodatum. Arnica, you go. Arnica's incredible. When we pull a muscle from coughing too much, it's an excellent way to deal with that pain. And that will often resolve pretty quickly. A few doses of Arnica 30 or 200, and the person is, well, and Bob's your uncle. I feel very frustrated. I feel I've tried several remedies on my daughter, but it doesn't seem to help. She coughs dry at night and wet during the day. Yeah, well, so what we do is we use the medicine that is specific for that time, or that set of symptoms. So when it's dry, you're going to use the dry cough remedies. When it's wet, you're going to adjust and use the wet cough remedies. When it goes back to dry again, you're going to go to the dry cough remedies. Indeed, that's how you do it. But I do want you to remember, I'm going to end this conversation tonight, this discussion, with what I started with, and that is we need coughs. A cough is not your enemy. A cough is actually very valuable to you. Otherwise, you would not be able to get the mucus up if it's in the lungs or if it's in the throat or if it's draining. We need coughs. So don't feel as though one must get rid of a cough. Same thing with a fever. We do not tinker with that stuff. That's why homeopathy makes so much sense, because at least there are no side effects. Even if you don't get it completely right, you know that a cough is a good thing. We want it to clear out. And the fact that her daughter is clearing out its liquidy during the daytime means most likely it's that she's standing upward. And here's another indicator. If the person is living their life fairly normally during the day, how dangerous is this cough? Not. We want this person to be able to live their life. So if the child is playing during the day and then coughs at night, yes, it can be maddening. But if you're using the medicines, you'll probably be able to get around that so that the coughing is not completely aborted, but perhaps lessened. How's that? Sometimes I cannot recognize between dry and wet. If you feel as though you're not able to recognize that, have someone else listen. You can hear the gurgle sound if it's got any liquid to it. You can actually hear something moving. If you don't hear moving or gurgling, in fact, get yourself a stethoscope and listen. All right, my friends, God bless you all. See you next week. And we will carry on with those conditions that are the most trying for you and your family. Take care. Bye now.
With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. My family needs me, so I must know our remedies. How much to take, how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. Athusa, no dairy, it's elementary. With arnica head, arsenic, fed, spigelia, slither, orms from wither, no more. My family needs me, so I improve my memory. Not only the rems, but how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With your homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. Bella so red and arnica head, drosera bark, ignatia dark, source of frigid and cuprum to rigid, and crude itches, calica barnicum, let it melt on your gumbo, vista weed are some great ways to treat ya. La 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 la, homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. My family needs me, so I must know our remedies. How much to take, how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. Athusanodary, it's elementary with arnica head, arsenic and fed, spidulia, slither, orms from wither, no more. My family needs me, so I improve my memory. Not only the rems, but how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With your homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. Bellaso red and arnica head, drosera bark, ignatia dark, source of frigid and cuprum to rigid, and crude itches, cali caponicum, let it melt down your gumbo, beast to weed are some great ways to treat ya. La 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 la, homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. My family needs me, so I must know our remedies. How much to take, how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. Athusanodary, it's elementary with arnica head, arsenic and fed, spidulia, slither, orms from wither, no more. My family needs me, so I improve my memory. Not only the rems, but how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With your homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. Belloso red and arnica hydrocera bark, ignatia dark, source of frigid and cuprum to rigid, and crude itches, calica bonicum, let it melt down your gum, bovies to weed are some great ways to treat ya. La 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 la, homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. My family needs me, so I must know our remedies. How much to take, how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. Athusanodary, it's elementary with arnica head, arsenica fed, spigelia slither, orms from wither, no more. My family needs me, so I improve my memory. Not only the rems, but how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With your homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. Belloso red and arnica hydrocera bark, ignatia dark, source of frigid and cuprum to rigid, and crude itches, calica bonicum, let it melt down your gum, bovies to weed are some great ways to treat ya. La 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 la, homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn all your remedies. My family needs a me, so I must know our remedies. How much to take, how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn all your remedies. Athusa, no dairy, it's elementary. With arnica head, arsenic and fed, spigelia, slither, orms from wither, no more infirm. My family needs a me, so I improve my memory. Not only the rems, but how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With your homeopathic protocols, learn all your remedies. Bella so red and arnica head, drosera bark, ignatia dark, source of frigid and cuprum to rigid, and crude itches, calicum, barnicum, let it melt on your gumbo, vista weed are some great ways to treat yellow. La 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 la, homeopathic protocols, learn all your remedies. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn all your remedies. My family needs a me, so I must know our remedies. How much to take, how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn all your remedies. Athusa, no dairy, it's elementary. With arnica head, arsenic and fed, spigelia, slither, orms from wither, no more infirm. My family